Live from Oscars in downtown Palm Springs, it's The Mark and Tony Show, starring Mark Lantero and Tony Pomponio. Tonight's very special guest is writer-producer Allison Martino. So give it up for Mark and Tony.
Well, I'm blushing. I'm impressed. Well, let's back up a little bit here. What a crowd.
No crickets tonight.
No, definitely no crickets. Thank you, everybody, for showing up to the Mark and Tony Show. I know I like to say it every week because without all of you, this doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
And without Tony, this doesn't happen.
Thank you very much.
Of course, Steve.
I was going to remind you of that, by the way.
I figured you would. But anyway, we want to thank you all for coming in tonight, and we do have a very special guest, as Laura said. This young lady that's going to be on the show tonight, we're dedicating the whole show to her this evening, because not only is she a beautiful lady inside and out.
Correct.
I had the opportunity, her mother's here, she's got her friends here, there's a lot of people here that are here to see the show, and of course to see Allison. But that all being said, Tony, you have a few words, because you always tell me I talk too much.
Well, it's okay.
Okay.
You know what? Tonight I'm excited. We're going to revisit the good old days, the great times in Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. We're going to revisit when Hollywood was the place you wanted to be. I remember back in the day cruising down Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood and Vine. It was the Sunset Strip. What was the name of the club? It was called 77 Sunset Strip. Oh, man, what a great place. I remember me and my buddies were teenagers then. We couldn't get in. We drove by. Then later on, when we got a little older, we were able to kind of hang out and see all the stars coming and going. They wouldn't let us in, except for one thing.
What's that?
One night, we were able to get into a club where Evel Knievel was at. It was the greatest night of our life, man. I'll tell you, he was over there buying drinks for all of us. It was a lot of fun. Hollywood in those days was, in fact, I don't know if Bill Beck's out there, but even the Marlboro Man. I remember the Marlboro Man sign.
Yeah, exactly.
How about that? Those were the good old days.
We do want to revisit the past, and Tony and I like the past and the way Hollywood was, and I hope there's a little nostalgia where we can bring it to life this evening, which I think we will.
Yep.
More importantly, Tony and I enjoy the past, and that's what this show is made from. So we're having a good time.
I remember one night. I gotta mention this.
Okay.
I was 16 years old, and there was a place called the Continental Club, and the accordion player was sick. So the guy called my dad and said, "Hey, can we have your son play the accordion?" Which all you know, I played the accordion because my mom had this big spoon. And so I played at the Continental Club for 1 month.
Watch that clock.
I know, I'm watching. I'd go out and play the accordion. I have to go sit in the kitchen during breaks because I wasn't old enough to hang out at the bar with all those hot-looking people like all of you, right?
So anyway, on that note, we'll be back with Allison after this break. So stay tuned, everybody.
We'll be right back, and thank you.
Kimball's Unique Boutique, located in beautiful downtown Palm Springs, is for women who are not afraid to attract attention. Our clothing is feminine, flirty, fun, and fabulous. Get the latest look. Large selection of jewelry, hats, and much more. Personalized service inspires our customers to keep coming back. Kimball's Boutique, across from the Hyde in beautiful Palm Springs. We look forward to having you shop with us, and don't forget to mention the Mark and Tony Show for your 20% discount on your purchase.
The saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. At GRA's Visions, we create photography that speaks volumes and comes across loud and clear. Specializing in beautiful portraiture, we also offer photographic excellence from corporate to candid, in banquets or backyards, and from formal to fun. GRA's Visions is the only real answer to your photographic needs. So if you want it to look great, call 760-218-1938.
Welcome back, everybody. As we said in our monologue with Tony and I, we have a very special guest this evening.
That's right.
We again had the opportunity of meeting her a few weeks ago with James Darren.
That's right.
Frankie Avalon.
Great night.
It was a fantastic evening.
A lot of fun.
So we would love to welcome her to the stage, everybody. So ladies and gentlemen, Tony, work it with me. Will you please welcome Miss Allison Martino.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me.
Wow. Are we fortunate tonight? This is awesome.
I'm fortunate. I didn't know I was going to be interviewed by Richard Gere and Tom Selleck.
Oh, I love that one. Richard Gere and Tom Selleck. We're going to talk about you as a contributor for the Spectrum News 1 SoCal scene.
Yes.
Please.
So Channel 1, which you get here.
Spectrum
in Palm
Channel
Springs.
1.
Channel 1, I've been reporting about the history of Los Angeles and Hollywood for about 3 years now. And that has been very rewarding, very fun. And it all came from a Facebook page I started 10 years ago called Vintage Los Angeles that took off. Thanks. Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, thanks. And I had been a TV producer for about 15, 20 years. And I'm much more happy doing this. Not that I like being on camera, I do, but I like to tell stories and find stories and tell them because we're losing so much history.
Okay, so with Vintage Los Angeles, obviously, so if you could give a little more of a backdrop on that, because obviously it's segueing to Spectrum TV and everything.
You know, I'm grateful for social media that I've been able to get the word out about Hollywood stories, also getting the word out about preservation and what we need to save. And it's been 10 years now, 11 years of just collecting stories. And it's very interactive. So there's about 2 million people on the page, about 400,000 interactive people telling stories. And I post a picture and I just let the comments come in. And we've just been learning so much more than we could learn from a textbook or in class. Because the stories are being told by the people who live
so
them.
So it's very interesting, and all the feedback that you are getting from these stories.
Yeah.
So basically, there's stories within a story.
I'm learning too. I didn't come on this page to say I'm an expert in anything. I wanted to start a page because I loved the history of LA, being a resident and living there my whole life, a native. I never expected that everyone loved history as much as I did.
So you know what? I have to ask a question.
Yeah.
And it's not on the list here. What drove you to do this?
It was a fluke. It really was. I just had a little break with TV and wanting to. My father had passed away suddenly, and I didn't know what I wanted to do at that point. And I was just kind of spending some time at home, and Facebook started. So I'm like, oh, I'll spend some time on the internet. And I created this page called Vintage LA. Thought 20 of my friends from high school will be on it, and we'll have fun, and we'll tell stories about old LA and what we've lost and what we did. And now, 12 years later, it's like about 2 million. I know.
Wow, how about that?
Tony and I, with the intro, with you coming out, and I credit Tony with this because he was talking about old LA and everything. What is the biggest changes that you're seeing now, good, bad, or indifferent? What do you think?
They are disastrous. I mean, I think that I've seen more change in the past 3 years, and now more than ever. And so preservation really needs to be taken seriously in every community, in every city. And so it's very important to fight for what you want to preserve. Get involved with the LA Conservancy or Save Iconic Architecture. Go to the city council meetings and voice your opinion. It does help. It really does. We're fighting for a house. Thank you. Yes, right?
Now, please applaud for that, because that is very good.
Yeah, it's like my number one concern right now is 2 things happening, and there's a beautiful house on Roxbury Drive. That's so beautiful. It's on 3 lots, and it's an old stately house. And it was right across the street from Lucille Ball's house and Jack Benny's house.
There you go.
And so that's the house they looked at every day. And it was built in 1941. It is absolutely gorgeous. And the new owner just bought it and wants to tear it down. And it's so beautiful that you're going to make you all look at the page because you'll just weep. And so last night I was on a Zoom with Beverly Hills City Council till 3 o'clock in the morning with other speakers, not a lot of them, but maybe 6. I don't know if anyone knows Josh Flagg, the realtor that's on $1 Million Listings, was there, and we're just telling City Council how important it is to keep them. When you have 7 City Council members and maybe 2 or 4 it's very hard to outnumber that.
Well, bless you for taking the initiative to do this, because Hollywood was royalty in those days. You know, I mean, we looked up to these folks. I mean, I don't want to take any of your time, but I'm over here thinking about this and realizing the hard work that you do every day to bring these folks back into the limelight.
Well, you know, I grew up in the neighborhood. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. You know, growing up in the neighborhood, it's not a neighborhood anymore to me. It's all becoming about money, and not that cities aren't about money, but it's about like billionaires now, and it's catering to people that are building. They look like embassies. They're not McMansions. Those are small. These are embassy type places.
And that's the big changes that I was commenting about.
Yeah, I mean, they're so colossal that people run out of money building them.
Wow.
And so they're tearing down all the classic old Hollywood homes
which is a shame.
Which sat far back on the street and had lawns and trees and circular
the
driveways.
Long driveways coming
yeah,
up.
the long driveways where you feel like, oh my gosh, this is old Hollywood. I really don't know what star tours, when you go on those tours and they go up and down the streets, what houses they can point out of who still lived there.
Yeah,
Like Doris Day's house was just torn down, and
it was.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's Kirk Douglas's house is actually for sale, and I'm hoping it stays because it's a small house. It's in Beverly Hills, but it's a small house. And back in the day, in 50s and 60s, he probably thought it was huge.
Well, yeah, and it probably was.
And it
back in the
probably
day.
was, but it was also they build them too big for the lots now. So you don't feel.
So it's all home, no lot.
It's just all house.
I think maybe we need to go on a break.
Yeah, you know what? I'm so interested in everything.
I know.
going
We're
on.
doing. Allison, will you stay with us?
Will you
for
stay
a
with
little
us
bit?
for another?
Absolutely.
All right.
2 more segments.
We'll be
right back. Hi, I'm Mark Lantero.
And I'm Tony Pomponio. Tune in every Thursday at 1 o'clock on Spectrum Fox 11 or Channel 33 on the Dish and DirecTV Network.
Music, comedy, interesting interviews every week on The Mark and Tony Show. Be there!
Kimball's unique boutique, located in beautiful downtown Palm Springs, is for women who are not afraid to attract attention. Our clothing is feminine, flirty, fun, and fabulous. Get the latest look. Large selection of jewelry, hats, and much more. Personalized service inspires our customers to keep coming back. Kimball's Boutique, across from the Hyde in beautiful Palm Springs. We look forward to having you shop with us, and don't forget to mention the Mark and Tony Show for your 20% discount on your purchase.
Welcome back, everybody. And I was commenting during the break for Allison that the crowd that we have here this evening is all due to Allison. I mean, look at the amount of people out there. It's a full house and some.
Thank you so much.
We want to thank you, Allison.
Yes.
You know what? Now that we're back off the break, I just wanted to kind of segue into something that's dear to my heart and Tony's, and obviously yours. There's a gentleman that was on the 50th anniversary movie called The Godfather.
Yes.
His name was Al Martino. Oh, the father of Allison Martino.
Spanish eyes, teardrops are falling from your Spanish eyes.
I never knew.
I've been waiting for this segment because that movie, the first movie that came into the three that were here for The Godfather, was spectacular and still the best of the three. What can you tell us about the movie, your dad and everything, and Marlon Brando, everything?
Yeah, tell us, lay it out there.
I don't even know where to start. There's just so much. And I will tell you that my dad was friendly with Bob Evans and Al Ruddy, the producer of The Godfather.
Right.
Dad goes way back with Bob in the early 50s. So they knew each other, and Bob Evans was chief of Paramount, and there was a script going around that Mario Puzo had written from the book, and my dad was friends with Phyllis McGuire of the McGuire sisters, and she said there's a great script going around and a book from The Godfather, and there's a part in there that is you. So he pursued it, and he got it. There wasn't a lot of other, he got it. He was the first one to get that part. Thank you, yeah.
Great job.
Thanks. It was no audition or anything because this is obviously around 70 when it came out in 72, and he had, was coming off of hit songs, so they knew he was playing a singer. I don't think he had to audition for that, but this is before anyone had heard of Al Pacino or Diane Keaton, Marlon Brando, obviously. So that was the only one that they knew Dad, and they knew. I mean, the co-stars, of course, but the main cast, and so. I think when Dad went in to do his part with Marlon, he was pretty nervous. Because, the scene where he gets slapped is, Marlon, he overheard Marlon say, you better get Al a little tipsy to Coppola. Because I don't think Dad knew that slap was going to come.
Oh, boy.
So
yeah.
that's genuine.
Oh yes, I mean it's only one take from what I've heard. I've been, it's confirmed. Al told me and Bob told, it was one take. So next time you watch it and you see him get slapped by Marlon, he kind of takes a step back because it was so shocking.
Shocking, yeah.
And that it was real, and that's method acting. Obviously, it's Marlon Brando.
Godfather, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. You can act like a man! What's the matter with you? Is this how you turn down a Hollywood Pinocchio that cries like a woman? What can I do? What can I do? What is that nonsense? Ridiculous.
So that's always an interesting part. But it was obviously no one expected it to be the classic it is today, 50 years later.
Considered one of the best movies of all times.
It is.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I just saw it, the 50th anniversary at the Academy Theater, at the new Academy Museum a couple weeks ago. It's all restored and remastered, and I hope that it goes out into the world that you can see it that way, because it was like seeing it for the first time. And I can't say that Frank Sinatra was happy about the Johnny Fontaine bar,
I was
but
kind of leaning into that a little bit. I wasn't sure how much you were going to be able to let the audience know about that, but yeah.
I just think that part, I think, maybe he wanted it. Maybe I'm not sure exactly what rattled his feathers about that part. Probably the part itself. I don't think it had anything to do with Dad. I think it would have been whoever had taken it. And just the horse's head and the whole process of how Johnny Fontaine got back into the film business, why it's the offer you can't refuse. And maybe Frank just thought, I don't want people to think that's me. But he got pretty angry about it.
Well, Frank was kind of controlling around, about his crowd and the things he wanted. He always got his way, right?
He definitely got his way because his dad didn't play Vegas for many years after that movie.
See, I didn't know if the audience was aware of that that was a struggle. We'll say a struggle for a while.
Well, we had a little conversation backstage in regards to this.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But
Yes.
it's interesting because they really respected each other's talents. They were on the same record label, and there was never any issue about their music or anything. But when you're on the same record label, sometimes there's a little
rivalry.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like two
Sure.
people, same realtors in the room, same singers in the room. So my dad hung out with a lot of comics because
Did he really?
because comedians opened for guys like my dad in Vegas and Reno and Atlantic City. It was always a comic before. I'm sure people here know the 2 drink minimum and the comedian before. So there was a lot of comics in our house.
That had to be interesting.
Oh yeah. I mean, Dad was
wow.
a big cook, so Buddy Hackett and Joey Bishop, Maury Amsterdam.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those were
Just stopping by, and you got a chance to grow up with all these people.
those are the guys I grew up with
Yeah.
when I was very
Wow.
young.
How
yeah.
cool is that, man?
Yeah,
Talk about
yeah,
a
it was
life.
pretty
Talk about a
fun.
life.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
And yeah.
I just couldn't imagine. Obviously we're talking about your dad. How about your mom?
Well,
how'd they meet?
okay.
How'd that all come about?
I actually hang in a very cool entourage because I have to tell you who's over there.
Please do. We're hoping you would.
My mother, Judy, who was married to my dad for 48 years. Judy Martino is over there. And my mom was an American Airlines stewardess for American Airlines. And she, what they look like in the 60s.
Oh, I was gonna say.
It's like Mad Men, it's the real thing. Yeah. And my dad got on her plane, and that was, she calls it love at first flight.
There you have it, audience.
And
I know.
so, and she's sitting with Wink Martindale. And his beautiful wife, Sandy. And my friend Lou Bracker, who is very dear friends of James Dean. And he has a beautiful, and has an amazing book called Jimmy and Me that you get on Amazon. Anyway, I love my crew here. And they're all Palm Springs residents now.
Yes.
Well,
But see, I don't know if the audience sometimes really realizes, or even when this gets out into the YouTube airways and everything, there's a plethora of talent that is still in this valley.
Yes.
And reside in
Yes.
this valley.
And that's what this show's all about.
And
right?
we have one other person here, Miss Roberta Linn is here in the audience as well.
So nice to meet you. But it's interesting because growing up in Los Angeles, there's so much Hollywood here in Palm Springs. I've only been here like a resident now for three months. So to be on the show is so much fun
Well,
because
welcome.
it's
Welcome.
to talk about old Hollywood here of all. I think we appreciate it more here.
Well, stay tuned because we're going to be back right after this break for the next segment.
We'll be right back.
Aries Visions, visuals from concept to completion, specializing in distinctive logos, identities, and branding. From business cards to banners to billboards, G. Aries Visions is your best graphics solution.
Hi, I'm Mark Lantero.
And I'm Tony Pomponio.
We're here to tell you if you missed the show on Thursdays, no worries.
You can catch a show and all of our previous shows on YouTube 24/7.
Just go to the YouTube search bar and type in The Mark and Tony Show.
The Mark and Tony Show! Be there!
Kimball's unique boutique, located in beautiful downtown Palm Springs, is for women who are not afraid to attract attention. Our clothing is feminine, flirty, fun, and fabulous. Get the latest look. Large selection of jewelry, hats, and much more. Personalized service inspires our customers to keep coming back. Kimball's Boutique, across from the Hyatt in beautiful Palm Springs. We look forward to having you shop with us, and don't forget to mention the Mark and Tony Show for your 20% discount on your purchase.
We're back, everybody, with Allison Martino.
Allison, I do have one question that I have to bring up. Let the audience know what you're doing today and what's happening in your life presently.
Well, I'm living here now, which is amazing. I'm still on Spectrum. I'm still doing all the old Hollywood stories for Spectrum. That's like the third year. I used to produce TV, and now I'm producing it on camera, which is really exciting. Do you remember a show called Mysteries and Scandals?
Yes.
Anyone remember that show?
Yes.
So, I produced that show for 5 years at E! Entertainment TV, and I think that's what sort of led me into the old Hollywood thing that I'm doing now. And everyone here knows the Vintage LA page, so you see me on that every day.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, because we keep talking about the past and everything, and I just wanted everybody to understand what's happening in your life today.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, and still fighting for all the buildings that we need
There
to
you go.
save.
Great job.
Every day.
So, Allison,
Yeah.
are you available for some Q&A from the audience?
Sure.
Let's go out to the audience and get some questions out there.
Allison, I want to know a little bit more. I think you do a column for an LA monthly. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more what that's all about.
I still write for Los Angeles Magazine. And I've been about 60 articles for them over the past 10 years. And I write for WeHoville, and now I'm writing on my own blog, which is vintagela.net. But I'm writing on Instagram and Facebook daily, so that's my diary now. I don't have any editors. I do it myself. It's much nicer.
Next question.
Hi, Allison. Thanks so much for being here. Can you expound on what you were just saying about Mysteries and Scandals with A.J. Benson? Tell us a little bit more about that.
That was a great 5 years, probably the greatest 5 years of my life, because we were interviewing old Hollywood celebrities that were still with us. I mean, I got a call from Jack Lemmon once that said, "This is my favorite show, and I got 15 more ideas for you." I interviewed Steve Allen, I interviewed Rod Steiger, I interviewed Dennis Hopper, Janet Leigh. It was an endless, they were all with us still. Cliff Robertson. It was an incredible time, and on every show, we did 156 episodes. I know, right?
Think about that.
Yeah. And there, some of them are on YouTube, which is great, and But again, the show really can't be done today again about that era, but without them.
Yeah,
without them.
that group.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Hi, it's David. I had heard that you had done a documentary on Trini Lopez.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little about that?
Well, it was filmed here at Oscars. So yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I co-produced a documentary about Trini Lopez with the Ebersol Hughes Company. Trini was a good friend of mine, and my family's. And when he moved to Palm Springs, he took us out. He was my drinking buddy. Okay, Trini Lopez.
2 more.
Yeah, I know. Now I got 2 more. He was one of my favorite people in the world, and he did a concert here, and we filmed it, and it's in that movie, which is coming out soon. We showed it at the Grammy Museum last year. And it got really great, then COVID and all that.
Sure.
So you just stand by. It's coming out. It's gonna be great. And
Okay, so the release date is not firm yet then.
no, the
correct?
release date is not firm. Unfortunately, and the most worst, unfortunately, is that we lost Trini right before the movie completed from COVID.
So sad.
Yeah, which was the most shocking thing. So this movie is really a tribute to him.
To Trini.
I'm just so grateful it was made for his legacy.
Hey there, Alison. Thank you so much for all that you do with preserving and saving these old buildings in Hollywood and the homes and everything. I was wondering what we all can do individually to help and speak out about saving these buildings before it's too late.
It's a really good question because it's really hard. You got to go to those city council meetings. It's really important. You know, just get online, whatever city you're in, and find out when. Or you can write to them too. We want to talk about a certain building that's in jeopardy, or a certain building that you want to keep preserved. Social media is fabulous. Just collect
Like this building.
Yeah, like, well, this. I mean, I know this is that Palm Springs goes through their I'm sure they're just like the spa that went down. But it's a struggle every day, but you got to get involved. And I think it starts with city council, and find out, like, in your neighborhood, if there's a conservancy. If there's not, make one.
Gonna throw in kind of a fun one here. So the Players Club on Sunset Strip, Tony, you may have been there. The Players Club. It's now.
I'm sure Tony was there.
He was the player.
Don't tell
in
anybody.
Players Club.
There you have it.
Right. So the Players Club is now this chain restaurant, the Pink Taco. Rumor has it there's an underground tunnel to Chateau Marmont, and there's an old turntable where the singers used to sing and it would turn around. Can you confirm or deny that rumor, and have you seen the turntable or tunnels?
I have not. I've been wanting to go down there forever. I'm not sure if they're still there, but no one has seen them. But I don't know if they've been. The earthquake, I heard, over two major earthquakes that I heard leveled it. That's what I was told by the city, and I bet it's true, because I think I would have seen it by now. Yeah, but there used to be a secret tunnel that the Bugsy Siegel era, that they would go from like Ciro's nightclub to the Players Club to the Chateau Marmont, and yeah, it would not have been something to see.
Well, everybody, Miss Allison Martino.
Give her a hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, our other special guest of the evening, Miss Roberta Linn. Roberta.
Thank you.
Tell us what's going on in your life. Please, take it.
Well, right now, I'm trying to dedicate myself to helping the people in the Ukraine. And on my birthday, April 30th, at the Desert Springs Church, they gave me the whole church. We're going to have all these wonderful entertainers and gifts. $20 at the door is going to the Ukraine through the Salvation Army. Yes. I have had fantastic response. I have to tell you that I did not realize that my father's parents came over from the Ukraine, from Kiev years ago. I want to do what I can do. I'm going to have my 94th birthday on April 30th. Somebody said Frank Sinatra would say, you look pretty good for an old broad.
You look great for an old broad, baby.
You know what, Roberta, you put together a really nice team of folks that want to help you put this thing together. I think you're doing a great job.
We are getting great response. Please, from your heart, try to, if you can't come on April 30th to the Desert Springs Church, try to donate something. All of the money, everything is going to the Salvation Army.
Everybody, Miss Roberta Linn. Everybody, until next week.